Today we're going to be unboxing the November Bargain Bead Box, and I'm also going to show you how to make this tassel necklace and this pair of earrings in this particular video. Now, I've made several projects. I will show you the pictures of them now. And now that you've seen those, you know that there will be several videos coming up afterwards. I decided to break them down, though in some of them I may reference projects that I did previously or make it sound like I've already done things I haven't done because I was making it as one video. However, I broke down each project into an individual video this time because it's just easier for you to find the project that you would like to watch, and the video won't be quite as long. So let's go ahead and unbox the November Bargain Bead Box and get started on a tutorial. Hi everyone, this is Gina. It's time to look at the November Bargain Bead Box. And this month, the theme is Burgundy Boho. So it's warm shades of deep red and purple combined with textured tassels for an eclectic, cozy sweater weather feel. So when you get your Bargain Bead Box, you get a piece of paper. Mine was stuck in the seal of the bag that it came in, so it's kind of torn. But you get a piece of paper that tells you about the theme, and then it tells you about your coupon that you get at the sister store, which is Bead Box Bargains, for 30% off. And there's a contest you can enter for a $50 gift certificate, and then on the back is your identification key. So each bag is numbered. I go through these very quickly so that we can spend most of the time of this video actually making something out of the box. So I'm going to dump this out. It's a pretty burgundy colored bag here. And I'm going to dump this out, and I like to go ahead and put everything in order, and then I'll come back and show you exactly what everything is. Okay, so I put everything in order, and number one is 100-piece 6mm steel bead caps, golden filigree. So let's look at these. These are really cute little bead caps. And everything is pretty much gold, purple, and burgundy in this box, so, yeah. And then number two is 2-piece 28mm floral chiffon petal tassels, burgundy and gold. So these are kind of cute little tassels here. Those are cute. And then number three is approximately 15-inch strands, 6x4mm faceted crystal rondelle beads, cranberry. And these are pretty color. Nice little rondelles. I like them. And back off a little bit. And number four is 1 meter 4x3mm textured steel chain. So we have some oval chain here. And like I said, I just go through this really quickly. I don't zoom in for 30 seconds and have you stare at it, because I just don't think that there's any reason for that. And there was lotion under my fingernail, so I'm fixing it. Sorry. So sometimes, okay. And then number five is, these are 100-piece 4mm gold finished steel round spacer beads. And these are very gold, bright gold. And then number six is approximately 45x25mm round tassel focal poly cotton blend. Come out, you. Come on. I'm not a big cotton tassel person, but this is kind of cute. I could do something with that, but yeah, these cotton tassels are not my favorite, but we'll do something cute with it. And 7 2-piece 23 by 18 millimeter fancy filigree brass links. And those are pretty. Those look almost embroidered. Let me get you real close. And those are pretty. I like those. So, put those back in there. Number 8 is a fancy filigree brass wreath pendant. And this is cute. And decorate that up a little bit. That's pretty. Number 9 is handmade matte lampwork glass fluted melon beads. I kind of like melon beads. They're kind of cool. This is the matte finish and it's got weird stuff on it. There we go. That's kind of pretty. I like that. We back off a little. Someone doesn't yell at me, it's too close. Because you know, someone will. They always do. Let's see. Number 10 is 6-piece strand, 12.5 millimeter frosted crackle agate dyed heated barrel beads. These are pretty. I like these. These are cool. Those are nice. Then number 11 are nickel-free steel earring hooks. So let's see what these look like. Nice, simple little earring hooks. Okay. Number 12. Looks like amethyst here. Let's see. Fluorite. 7.5 strand, 8 millimeter natural rainbow fluorite. That's pretty. Yeah, that does look like fluorite. Now that I actually get it in my little paw here, it does. It looks just more fluorite than amethyst. It's nice. I like fluorite. Number 13. 7.5 inch strand, 8 millimeter mountain jade, Dolomite round beads, violet and gold. Oh, these are kind of pretty. Let's get you close again. You can see they have this little gold splash on them. It's pretty. I like that one. That one's pretty. And the number 14 is 2-piece 15 millimeter triangle tassel drops burgundy poly cotton blend. Those are cute little tassels. It makes a cute little set of earrings. You can just shove those on the ear wire and be done. Those are cute. And then number 15 is 2-piece 38 millimeter triple tassel pendants poly cotton blend. Some more tassels, if I can get the bag open. And there you have it. Those are kind of pretty. And then number 16 is 2 sets floral brass toggle clasps. These are kind of pretty. They have little flowers at the bottom here. It's kind of cute. Still that really brassy gold color. But it's all brassy, so as long as I stay within what they sent me, I won't have mixing of colors, shades of gold. There's always so many shades of gold. And when you mix them, it looks kind of strange. Number 17. Oh, these are pretty. I really like these. These are 5-piece 12mm lampwork glass art handmade round beads, violet purple. These are pretty, and you can kind of see that they're kind of translucent with the purple on it. And that's really kind of cool. I like those. Those are pretty. Let me back up again. And then the last one, number 18, is approximately 18-inch strand 4x3mm crystal rondelle beads, violet jade shimmer. Those are pretty too, with the shimmer on that. That is pretty. Okay, so this month is going to be a little challenging, but I think I can figure out something to do with this stuff. So let me plan for a few things, get a few other things out of my stash, and come back and I'll show you something to make. Okay, so I'm really not exactly sure what I'm going to do. Remember, with these videos, I am designing on the fly, so I found this burgundy embroidery thread, and I think it matches this really well. And I just got this at like Walmart in a package of a whole bunch of different colors. And this is the only one, so I can't mess up too much. But I thought maybe I could do some kind of macrame stitch, maybe square knots, maybe a spiral square with a half knot, and maybe use some of these beads that came in the box. So I've got the tassel, and I've got my bead on it board because I think that I'm going to anchor my tassel down like this as I get ready to do my, so I've got some straight pins. As I get ready to do my embroidery, maybe I can anchor it down a little bit. So I am going to decide just how much thread I need and kind of think through this a little bit and come back and show you what I'm going to do. Okay, so this is the design I've come up with so far, and I'm going to go ahead and do this side so you can see how I did it. What I've added in the mix is I have added some size 2 crimp beads. These are Beadalon Gold Tone. I'm using some of the 4mm round beads, the golden metallic ones that were in the box. I'm using the clasp, one of the clasps that came in the box. I'm using the barrel beads. We'll be using 4 of them. Some Beadalon size 7 beading thread, or not beading thread, but beading wire. The rondelles that came in the box, the little sparkle rondelles, and a cord end, a coiled cord end. You can get these at Hobby Lobby. You may even have some in your stash. You can get them at Walmart, anywhere. They're just a little coiled wire end, and of course it's golden tone. Then I'm using my embroidery thread that I showed you earlier, and I have cut 3 pieces about 37 inches long, which is more than you will need, but it gives you quite a bit to work with. So 4 pieces, and they're bit in half here, and I'll show you what we'll do with those. But first, let me get some of this stuff off. I'm going to use some straight pins in my bead on it board just to anchor this. You can also use a clipboard. This one has a raised middle, so I could clip it here, but I'm going to go ahead and do it on here because I think the white background is going to be easier for you to see. So I will just anchor it with some straight pins. Let me get all this stuff off of here, and we'll get started. The first thing I've done is separate one of my cords that I cut at 37 inches long, and I'm going to put the 2 ends together. Now, like I said, this is more cord than you'll need because we're not doing a long length. Now, if you want to do a longer length, then you'll have plenty to do it with. But I'm just doing it like this. And then I am going to put my loop through. So I folded in half, putting the ends together, found the center, and I'm just pushing the loop through the back of my pendant. And actually, I want to put it through the front of my pendant. I'm sorry. So loop it like this, put it through the front of your pendant, bring your loop around, give yourself plenty of room to work with, so just open this loop up, and let me get you a little closer, and then just slide the long part of the threads through the loop, pull it down, and I'm going to anchor it about here. Let's see, about even. And then I will do the same with the other two cords. So same thing, go ahead and put your next cord next to this one and the one after that next to it. Exactly the same way I just put this one on. Okay, so this is what you should have. And I know it's difficult to see on the pendant because it's the same color. But 3 lark's head knots with your 3 cords separated like this. And now I am going to, I'll get you closer when we start the knots, but I want to give myself some room to work here because I'm just going to anchor this down, and I think I'm going to do that by going through the jump rings here on the tassels and anchor this down with some straight pins. You can tape it down if you'd like with plumber's tape, something that isn't going to goo it up or damage it. Plumber's tape will work fine if you'd like, or you can put it on a clipboard. And then I'm going to put another one in the middle here and see how that holds for me. Now I'm going to arrange it to where this middle strand is taut. So you can either tuck it under your beading board if you're using one like I am, or you can tape it onto your beading board. And I'm just going to tuck it under and see if that'll hold it for me. And then I'm going to start by taking my left thread. Now you can do right too, it doesn't matter, but whichever one you start with. We're going to first make a square knot, and then we're going to put on our bead, and then make another square knot, and then we're going to do half knots so that it spirals like this. So we're going to take the left thread and we're going to make a 4 shape like this. And then we're going to take the right thread, make sure it's over the top of the left thread right here. And you can see you have this little crisscross in the middle. You're going to take the thread that is on top and just push it under and through the loop you created. So just go under that crisscross and through the loop. And then just pull the 2 threads up gently and tighten them, just like that. And let me see if I can get a little bit closer here. Now we're going to do, like I said, we're going to do a square knot. So we're going to do this side now. So I'm going to take my right thread. I'm going to make that little 4 shape like this. And then I'm going to put my left thread on top of my right thread. My little crisscross here I'm aiming for, and I'm going to go under it and through the loop. So it's over, under, and through. I just put my finger on everything so it doesn't move and pull my knot up. Just like that. Now we're going to do a tricky little thing. I told you to have a little bit of tiger's tail. And you can use a big-eyed needle if you'd like to, but this works just fine. Just a fine beading wire, anything that will go through your bead well. Take your middle threads and loosen them up from wherever you have them on tape or tucked under your board, and slide the beading thread onto that thread, that middle thread. And so you've got your beading wire on, just like this. Now we are going to put this bead on, sliding it through both of these beading wires here, and then it will just go right up your thread like this. Then you'll just separate these threads down here that are over your beading wire and just pull them through like that. Then you can just take your piece of beading wire and toss it aside. Now I'm going to tighten back up my middle strand here. Okay, so once you have your bead in place and you've made your middle thread taut again, then you're going to take your left hand thread and we're going to make that funny little 4 shape, again, going over the middle thread, and then taking the right thread and putting it over the top of the left thread. And then we're going to take this thread that we just put over the top and slide it underneath this little X here and then through the loop. So over, under, and through. And then pull. Then we're going to take this thread, the right thread, and we're going to put it in a 4 shape. Put the left thread over the top. Then we have to take that left thread and push it under the X and through the loop. And pull. Just like that. Now we are just going to start doing a spiral stitch. So all we're going to do is make our knot on this side. So this is my left hand side. And I am just going to make the knot over and over on this side. Now as we do this, our threads will get a little twisted and we'll have to straighten them. But basically it's just the same knot over and over and over. So I'm making my little 4 shape like this with my left thread. Taking my right thread and putting it over that left thread. Then grabbing the length, the long part of the right thread and pushing it under that X and then through this loop. And then I'm just going to pull. Just like that. And then I'm going to do it again. I'm going to take this left thread, put it over the center thread, put my right thread over the left thread, take the longer part down here and shove it through under this X and through the loop. Hold on to right where the X is with your finger and just pull the length of thread through and then draw the 2 sides together and tighten. And then again, take your left thread, put it over the center thread, take your right thread and put it over the left thread. And then grab the longer part of the right thread and push it under the little X and through the loop. And you'll see things are starting to get twisted. So you can, at this point, I can still work with it, but you can loosen up your bottom like this and untwist it. But I find sometimes that will confuse you and you'll end up making a square knot instead of a spiral knot. So just straighten things out. And now we can begin again. So we're going to take our left thread, put it over the top of the right thread, and then, or over the center thread, and then take the right thread and put it over the left thread. And then we're going to aim for this little X here. Let me get you a little closer, rearrange so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. So here's the X, here's the length. I'm going to go underneath and I'm going to pull the length of that thread through that loop and then pull the 2 sides together. And then I'm going to do it again. Take a 4, bring the right thread over the left thread, and here's the long part of my thread, here's my X. I'm going to take that long part of my thread, push it under the X and through the loop we first made, and then pull my length through. And pull. And you can see it's already starting to twist. And now I'm going to take another and then I'm going to push it under. And I'm just going to continue doing this, straightening out my threads when I need to, and tying these knots until I get about the same length I have on the other side here and put my bead on. Now you can make any length you want. I am tied in on this side because I already did this side, but you can make yours as long as you want. When you decide you're ready to put the bead on, I will come back when I'm ready to put mine on, and I'll show you how to put the bead on, and then we'll continue until you have the length that you want. Okay, so I've got about the length that I want, and am ready to put my other bead on. So what I've done is I've just kind of measured, and I have about the same length, because it's hard to count the spirals because I did this one differently than I'm doing this one in tightness and so on and so forth. Actually, this side didn't turn out nearly as neatly as this side's going to turn out because I'm a little bit more practiced, because I haven't done this in a very long time, but it doesn't really matter. This is just a goofy little necklace, so I'm not too worried. I am now going to take my piece of beadalon or tiger's tail or whatever, my beading wire, and I am just putting my thread around it like this, my middle thread, and will put my bead onto the thread like this. Pull it through, and then I will separate these threads, find the long length and pull it through. Just like that. Take that off. Get that hair out of there, wherever that came from. And then tuck my middle strand back under my beading board here. And I am going to go ahead and just start doing because I didn't tie a square stitch here, I'm just going to go ahead and start doing my spiral again. I don't really think I need to tie a square stitch on this side, both sides. I'm just going to try it like this. So I'm going to take my thread and make my little 4 shape, and then put this thread over the top, slide under the X, go through the loop, and pull my thread through and tighten. And then I'm just going to continue doing that until I have the same length as this one. Now with this one, my stitch got a little off and it got a little straight on the back here. So if it twists and you untwist it and you get your threads kind of crossed and you start doing your knot again, you'll get a straight macrame stitch, like a square knot, instead of the twist. So you just have to be careful with that. I knew it happened, but I wasn't too concerned about it. I may purposely try to do that on the end of this one too. But don't do that. Just keep doing your spiral, okay? All right. See you in a few. So I have finished my spiral to the point where I am even with the other side I created. You can go as long as you want. If you're creating your first side, you can go as long as you want. Just make sure that you make your second side the same. You can count your knots as you make them if you want everything to be exactly the same. I was just measuring, and it's probably not exactly the same. My spirals don't even look exactly the same on either side. They're pretty close. I redid this one. They're pretty close, but they don't have to be exactly the same. This is not that kind of necklace where I'm really too concerned about that. That just depends on your preferences. So now I am going to finish my ends. I'm going to use one of these little coiled things right here, little coiled end, and I've just kind of pushed down. They come with the top up so that you can use it to attach a jump ring. I just push it down a little. I don't push it down all the way. You can't really get it down all the way, but just push it down some on a hard surface. And then you're going to take, I've cut all of my ends flush, but I've left them long, and then I'm going to take my piece of bead stringing wire, my tiger's tail that I've been using, and I'm just going to place it over my cord about 1 inch down. And then I'm going to grab my little end here, and on the end that doesn't have the lifted part, I'm going to put my wires through, and just make sure you get them all the way through the lifted one too. Don't go on the outside of it or it won't pull through right. about an inch down on your cord, and then just kind of pull this cap down. Keep pulling it down until you go over the top of your cording. Then you can pull this part down, leave the beading thread in. So pull this all the way down to the top of your spiral, and then pull the long part of your cording. Pull this here. Sorry, I'm forgetting what I'm thinking about, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, leave the beading wire in there, and then I have cut a piece about 14 inches long of bead stringing wire. I'm using 7 beadalon, and I am just going to leave this beading wire in here, and right beneath the beading wire, we get you really close, right beneath this beading wire, I am going to put in this wire right here and just kind of guide it through like this, so that it's all the way through nice and clean, and then hold on to it and pull out the other wire. And then grab a crimp tube. I'm using a size 2 beadalon crimp tube. Take your long part of your wire and scoop up your crimp tube. Bring it down, and then put your short end into the crimp tube. I'm trying to get my fingers out of the way for you, but it's probably not going to happen. There we go. And then I'm just going to pull on the longer part of the wire until I pull this down where I want it. Now, you see, I have not pulled or cut this part off, so I can still adjust it, because I want to pull it down a little deeper since I pulled this side down a little deeper. But I want my wire in here, and I want it secure before I do that. And see how much space I left there. Not much space, so I'm just going to push it down where I want it. And then I'm going to grab my crimping pliers, and it doesn't truly matter if these are completely parallel here. They kind of want to twist anyway. And then I'm just going to crimp this crimp tube in the second divot closest to the handle. And then you can see I've got my 2 wires encased in tubes, and then I'm going to turn it over to the side and go into the first divot on my pliers here and squeeze that crimp tube tight, just like that. Now that I've got that on there, I can pull this down a little tighter and kind of push that top a little bit more down. And look at my other side, see how much I've got sticking out, maybe a little more than that. Pull on this a little bit, bring it back out just a little bit. And then once I get it where I want it, and they're not going to be exactly the same, but just get them as close as you can, then just grab this top, get your chain nose pliers, flat nose pliers, something, and the top that was sticking up, just kind of crimp it together. You can push it down closer to the other wires if you want to, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to kind of crimp it down around my cording, just a little bit, just to hold it tight. And then I'll go down to the bottom and crimp the last wire on it a little bit. Kind of push it into my cording and make sure that's nice and secure and it's not moving. And then I can take these cords and I can grab my scissors and cut very close to the end here. And then you can take your thread burner if you want to and just kind of clean it up a little if you have any stragglers. Just a little bit, not a lot, because this will turn black and be all weird looking. So that's finished there. And now I'm ready so I can string this portion. So what I will do is I will go ahead and cut this off. Make sure my crimp bead is nice and secure, and I'm going to just cut this all the way to the end because I'm going to drop one of these 4mm beads down, and it will just drop right over my crimp, and you won't see it anymore and won't have to deal with it. So I'm going to take one of these 4mm round beads, and I'm going to drop it over my crimp bead. Now if it doesn't go over, no, it does, then you haven't crimped it quite tight enough, but it should go right over it. And I hope I've been in camera because I'm not paying attention. Sorry everyone. Now, I'm just going to take my little rondelle beads, get some of them off of this strand here. And what I did on this side was I strung 10 and then a gold bead, 10 and then a gold bead. And I did that in 4 sections of 10. And once you've done that, we'll come back and we will do the ending. And I'm using one tiny little crimp cover, a size 2 crimp bead, and the clasp that came in the package. So go ahead and start stringing. String 10 of your, well, you can do it any way you want actually, but I'm stringing 10 like I showed you. So I'll come back and show you how to end it. I have finished this side. Let's go ahead and finish it up. So I'm going to pick up a crimp tube. I'm going to drop it down. And I've got a little bit too much wire, so I'm just going to cut it down. You want to reserve several to go through, but I had just a little too much. Then I'm going to pick up my clasping, drop it down, and then I'm going to go through the crimp tube, and I'll go through the first bead here. And my first bead is the gold one, so it will fall over my crimp tube, and then I'll have extra length, so I'm going to put a cover on it. But right now, let's get you close. Way too far away, and then way too close. Alright, so I pulled this through the crimp bead, the first bead here, and now I'm going to get my crimping pliers. You want to make sure you don't have a lot of space here. Interruption, sorry about that. So what I was saying is you want to make sure you don't have a whole lot of space in your wire. You don't want any slack. Maybe a tiny bit just for them to move, but not much at all. And then I'm going to just go ahead and put my crimp bead in the second divot of my crimping pliers and squeeze. And you can see that I've created a fold in the middle of that crimp. And now I'm going to turn sideways so that I'm on either side of the tubes and the fold is in the middle, and I'm in the first divot of the crimping pliers, and I'm going to squeeze those two sides on either side of the fold together. And now I have a nice little crimp. So now I'm just going to grab this little tiny cover, and I'm going to put it in my Mighty Crimpers. These are just a big crimping plier, or crimping tool, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to slide it on here. Sometimes I can slide it right on, sometimes I can't. So I'm going to slide it on the crimp tube. Let me get you closer first of all. I don't have enough hands. I'm going to put this on here. And I think I'm just going to do it with my fingers because it's a small one. And I wanted it to be a small one. Of course, the other side didn't, give me this much trouble, so you know how it goes. Pick it up and slide it on here. There. Now I've got it on there. Let's see what it looks like. And I'm just going to take my Mighty Crimpers and I'm just going to put it in the first divot, the round divot, and squeeze it. And you can do that with your regular pliers too. You don't have to use these, they just work really well. And for this little tiny one, you just want to do it gently. You can use whatever size crimp cover you have. I just wanted a small one because I like the way it lays against this bead here. Of course, the golds are different colors because I generally don't buy this really bright gold color. I buy this more mellow gold color, so you know, my findings are going to be a little different than what's in the box. And then I have now crimped this and put the cover on it, and it's finished on the ends, and I'll show you what the necklace itself looks like. I'm going to back off, turn it this way, get myself together here. And like I said, it's not really something I would normally create, but hey, it was in the box, and you know, it's cute. So there you have it. It would actually match the sweater I have on, so yeah, there you go. Project number 1. Okay, so now that we've made our funky little necklace here, let's make a pair of earrings to match. I've made one, and I've used the tiny tassel that came, and I'm using the 2 barrel beads I have left, 3 of the little bead caps per earring, and a rondelle bead per earring, a head pin per earring, and an ear wire. So let me show you what this one looks like real quick. Get it close to you here. And that's what that looks like. It's pretty cute. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pick up a head pin onto a head pin. No, we're going to pick up a bead cap onto the eye pin. And then, and if I've been calling these head pins, they're eye pins. And then we're going to drop down the barrel bead, and then we'll put on another bead cap down towards the barrel bead like this. And then we're going to put on another bead cap up, so it's upside down basically, and will stand up like a flower. So I'm going to put that on like that, and then I'm going to grab my rondelle and I'm going to drop it down. Then I'm going to get my round nose pliers, and I'm going to place them just a little ways down my pliers here. See how big I made this circle? Right about there. And then I'm going to bend the head pin over the pliers, turn my wrist and move my pliers into my bend, and then bring that wire over the top. And as I bring it over the top, I'll bend my wrist a little bit and move the circle down and wrap the wire around the bottom of the pliers like this. And then I will grab a pair of flat nose pliers or chain nose, doesn't matter, and hold on to my loop. But I'm going to hold on to it with my left hand. And then I'm going to move this remaining wire up towards the pliers, parallel with the pliers. And then I'm just going to start to turn very lightly and turn this until it goes all the way around, just like that. And then I will take my end cutters and just cut that off. Tuck the little tail in very gently. Well, get in there. Okay, that's better. And then I will open the loop on the bottom of the head pin here, and you just want to do this gently and hold your bead as you do this. Hold the bead in the bead cap the best you can. Find where it opens. Opens on this side, and just turn it out a little bit. Just enough so you can slide your, well, maybe a little more than that. So you have to slide the tassel on there. So let's get that, slide it on. and then turn it back. Of course, you could always put a jump ring on, and that would be easier. But that works too. So just like that, and then I'll see how this one's oriented because these are kind of slanted. So I'll turn this one this way, and I'll put my head pin, or my head pin. Everything's a head pin today. My ear wire, I'm going to open it and slide it on like this and close it. And hopefully you can see everything. And this is what it looks like. I have a little set of earrings now. Pretty cute. And before you make your necklace, you may want to pick out a couple of your beads that match a little better for your earrings. I didn't think about it, and then when I went to make them, I'm like, well, they don't match perfectly, but that's okay. And that is how you make a pair of earrings. Let's back off a little so you can see them, and I'll think of something else for us to do.